let's talk about Project Hail Mary. I saw it for a second time in IMAX this time. And I got to say, I liked it even more the second time than the first. I got to really just savor the details. While the first time I saw Project Hail Mary, I was kind of like white knuckle, like, okay, please, will this be as good as the book? Good as the book? Will it be as good as the book? The answer to that is no. And while it hits the main story beats of the book, which is very satisfying, I even wish the movie was longer. It's 2 hours and 35 minutes. Okay, some consider that a long movie. Considering what happened in the book, I wish the things that are missing are really more of the science aspects of the book. They really go into detail about astrophage. Obviously, it's fictional science, but they really build up what it does. Even the physics of Rocky as a being, a living being that is not based in, not human like, not really based with water, say, not a part of that physics. And so I miss the science. I miss, you know, the book and the movie are two separate things. I'm completely willing to let go. And I think as a movie, this really is an amazing job. It could have been 3+ hours for me. I think the thing that I thought was missing were the stakes. The fact that it was the fate of not just the world, Earth, but all life on Iridian, which is Rocky's homeworld. So 2 species completely could be wiped out. And they made it kind of more of a buddy comedy. And while that is in the book and humor is in the book, it's balanced by a lot more serious stakes. I do love the character of Strat, who's kind of running the whole Project Mary program. She's played by
Sandra Hüller.
Sandra Hüller, I believe a German actress. And Milana Vinogradov plays one of the astronauts. She's in those Verizon commercials.
She's
barely in the movie, but you know, she could have been in there more. So look, and also the idea of being in isolation, that's really played on in the book. And here it's kind of like, again, leaning more into the humor. But I'll say, one of my favorite movies this year. I have 3 favorite films this year. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, Project Hail Mary, 3 on my best of the year list. I can't wait to see Project Hail Mary again. I'll probably see it in 70mm IMAX. The sound design, I really love. I wish the score were better. Some people are comparing the film to Interstellar, which I think had an amazing Hans Zimmer score. I wish the score were better, but the sound design in this is fantastic. So, not disappointed. Wish there was more. The book has the more you're looking for. So if you see the movie, you love the movie, you haven't read the book, you will love the book. Strong recommend for the book. And can't wait to see it again. So much so, I did buy the popcorn bucket.
You didn't buy the helmet one?
I didn't buy that one, but it came with a free patch. And I collect patches for NASA missions. So there you go. Alan, any more thoughts on Project Hail Mary?
So I'll come to it from the perspective. Yeah, I'll come at it from the perspective of someone who's not read the book. And then someone who's listened to people who read the book overhype this movie.
You're right. You're that fair criticism.
Okay.
Fair criticism.
But I will say I saw it in IMAX. I saw it in 70mm, which is funny because, you know, there are moments of silence in this movie. And in these moments of silence, the only thing you hear is the projector in the back of the room. And I really like this movie. I really had a lot of fun with it. In spite of the overhype from all my friends, found out that Robert Meyer Burnett was in my screening as well. So we talked a lot about it. Look, you know, I think you're kind of iffy on the tone of the movie. I think the tone of the movie and I think the casting of Ryan Reynolds was perfect and spot on. I think the tone. Let me speak to the tone. We're talking about an event, a high stakes event where not only Earth is on the verge of dying, but the whole universe is, and that's really heavy. And I'll go back to conversations I've had recently with a lot of my friends. Is that movies are so dark and depressing that they don't like going to movies. And I
Mm,
think the thing that helped this movie, because of the high stakes of massive death, is that you had a lighter tone throughout the film. You had Ryan Gosling being kind of
okay.
funny. It was just Ryan Gosling being funny. Everyone else around him was deadly serious. They took it at hand. And so knowing that the stakes were so high, I think being a lighter tone helped it be more palatable. So you're
Mm,
not just depressed the entire movie, but you're able to have good moments, and also you're able to root for the character, root for Grace, um, because that's ultimately what you want to do. You want to be able to put your shoes in, put yourself in Ryland Grace's shoes, and say, how would I do this? What would I do? And that's the other thing I like about this movie is it's this giant thought exercise. What would you do if you're in this situation?
mm,
You're alone in space. Right off the bat, you're destined to die. There's no going back. And so you're dealing with this idea of sacrifice. The needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many. Um, then you also have Rocky coming aboard. And yes, cute character and all, but there is this idea now you're in this thought exercise of, well, how do you communicate with him? What can you do? How
well,
ultimately are you going to do it? And then this shouldn't be a spoiler because it should be common knowledge, but uh Ryan comes with Earth technology, Rocky comes with the technology from his, and they have to basically work together to solve the problem. And so yeah, this is just one of those world universe ending feel good movies, and I would definitely recommend see it. And if you can see it in IMAX, and if you can see it in 70 millimeter, and see it on a
this
real IMAX screen, don't see it
this
on like
yeah,
fake ones.
this needs to be seen in IMAX for
Yeah,
the spectacle. You
yeah,
can't. You're not going to watch this movie on your iPad or your phone.
yeah.
You're going to
It's
see
cool
it.
because everything in space fills up the screen, and then everything on Earth is your traditional.
Well, yeah.
You know,
You know what's so funny? They just opened a ScreenX screen at the AMC Burbank 16. I popped my head in there to look at it.
I wouldn't watch it.
ScreenX is distracting.
Yeah.
You've got the screen extends on the sides of you, and when ScreenX happens, it's like they turn the lights on at the movies.
Hmm.
The effect doesn't work for me. I
Yeah.
prefer 70 millimeter IMAX. I love it. Dolby Digital, I love it.
Mhm.
Undertone in Dolby Digital, loved it. But also, you got the quote wrong. It's the needs of the many
I
outweigh the
know.
needs of the
I.
few, or the so.
It's the same
And then
concept, though.
Kirk
It's the
reversed it.
same
It starts.
concept.
It's fine. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. It's okay. I never misspeak, so I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm
Yes, you tell me that all the time.
Yes, I'm lying. But no, you're right. I agree. The tone of the book, parts of the book get really depressing. Strat goes into like if the countries of the world even work together, half of
Mhm,
life on Earth will be gone. Like people won't survive. It's catastrophic,
mhm.
failure of all systems. It's she goes into like they
Yeah.
go into detail about those aspects, and so there's all this pressure on Ryland Grace. He's not, and the one thing I saw an interview with Andy Weir, the movie is similar in ways to The Martian,
Yeah.
and one thing with The Martian, the character lead character in The Martian, uh, played by Matt Damon, he doesn't change. He's this optimistic science guy who's going to science his way to survival. He doesn't change. Ryland Grace in Project Hail Mary, that's what Andy Weir set out to do, was have a character who has an arc. He changes.
Mhm.
He's not a hero. He doesn't want to sacrifice himself. He is not brave. He becomes all those things out of necessity. And that is the heart of this movie. So And you're right. So many movies are depressing and dark. You know, dystopia. Dystopia is done. Dystopia is done. We're done with dystopia. We've had enough dystopia. We're good with dystopia. Let's move on from dystopia. We need more hopeful, optimistic stories. And this fulfills all of that. It does have so many harrowing moments, but all my criticisms are nitpicks, and I only have a lot of those from reading the book. In spite of that, loved it, and I will see this movie for the third time in theaters before it's gone, because I really love it that much. And there you go. So for me, 9 out of 10. And if you like the movie, you haven't read the book, read the book. It's even better. Alan, your final thoughts. We'll go to comments.
Yeah, like I said, I think, you know, I mean, I have friends who are not moviegoers, and the biggest thing they say is movies are too depressing. And I think this just nails it. It addresses that, and the reason I bring it up is because this is the criticism I'm hearing of this movie, and I'm like, no, it's all about the choice of the directors, and the directors made the right choice.
Thank you.